Hey all, Jason Levon, priest at St. Luke's Episcopal Church in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Welcome to another Pause and Pray. This past weekend I was at Costco, and if you've ever been to Costco on a weekend, you know how crazy crowded it is. And while there in the produce section, I saw a scene unfold that was both painful and beautiful. There was a mother who had a son, 5 years old, if that, had some special needs, and maybe it was the noise, the crowd, whatever. He just unraveled and had a meltdown there, to the point of melting into the floor and flailing there. You can imagine with all of the people in Costco on a weekend that there were a lot of folks staring at this commotion. And I saw several sets of daggers shot in this mother's direction for the scene her son was causing. One woman in particular who looked at the mom and then looked at me and rolled her eyes profoundly. I noticed that woman who was rolling her eyes in judgment was sporting a beautiful cross on her necklace, advertising her faith. And while she was advertising her faith and rolling her eyes in judgment at this mom, I saw the young mom do something beautiful and holy. She simply let go of the cart, sat down on the floor of Costco crisscross applesauce, and placed her hand on her child and held the space with a calm, quiet, loving energy. It took several minutes, but eventually the child calmed, and she picked him up, put him in the cart, and cut her Costco trip short, walking out of the store with him. But I thought of the juxtaposition of this woman who was advertising her faith with this beautiful cross on her necklace, rolling her eyes in judgment, and then this mother who did something and loved in a way that was completely unadvertised, not even wanting to advertise it, not caring who saw it or what they thought about it, but just wanting to hold the space for her child with love and calm and quiet support. And I marvel at the fact that kind of love that is so unadvertised is at work on a daily basis in this world. In today's daily office, we're invited to reflect on chapter 6 of Matthew's Gospel. It's the same gospel that many of us followers of Jesus hear proclaimed on Ash Wednesday, where Jesus warns us about practicing our piety so that others can see it. In other words, Jesus celebrates a God who so often works in unadvertised ways. Much like that woman, that mother who sat down on the floor in Costco and held the space in quiet, calm love. And not so much like the woman who is advertising her faith with a beautiful cross and rolling her eyes in judgment at the same time. In a world that's so loud and constantly clamoring for our attention, today we're invited to pause and pray and reflect on the ways in which we've come to experience God at work in unadvertised ways. Maybe it's an unadvertised visit or phone call or text message from a friend that lifts our spirits. Or maybe it's an unadvertised moment with a significant other where we come to realize just how much of our life is shared and embraced. And we come to marvel at the wonder that whether we see it or not, God is always at work, moving and stirring. And most often it catches us up by surprise because it's never advertised. God's peace and blessings to you all.